Alright everybody, welcome back to another diag here. We've got a P0607 on a 2012 Toyota Camry with the big 2.5 liter. The 607 code, we'll look at that. You can kind of get slid on some of these. We'll just go here we'll go to information first. It's a processor code for the heater circuit of the rear O2 sensor on all of them. Oh boy, we gotta get. It would be nice to pull that up. Here we go. Go to info. Here we go. So the ECM CPU malfunction. The heater oxygen sensor transistor, which is inside the ECM malfunction. We have troubled area ECM, the oxygen sensor number 2, aka the downstream sensor, the narrowband. The upstream should be AF sensor and an exhaust gas leak. There should be more here because the front O2 sensor, or technically the air fuel ratio sensor, could also be at fault. Obviously exhaust leaks, but also the circuit itself. I believe on a Corolla of a similar year, had problems with the AC drain leaking onto the connector, because sometimes the connector is inside on a lot of those Corollas and stuff. Here's some strategy and how it ducts this for 60 seconds. The light is off right now, so obviously it's an intermittent problem. But this is why it does pay to do this. As you can see here, air fuel ratio sensor can cause this leak, and obviously exhaust leaks can. And then everybody else seems to be having a very small crack in the O2 sensor right near the hex. So you're gonna keep that in the back of your mind. Normally this comes with a P0138 as well. It's every time I've seen it, it's with that. I do not have that this time, but obviously it's not a problem. And then other people having issues with the front AF sensor, O2 sensor, so, or people just replacing both. They probably arming the parts cannon on that, or you know, maybe they're like, hey, it's old, you know, don't want you coming back in a week for the other one. So it's not a bad upsell, I guess, if you don't, because you know, a lot of you DIYers may be like, well, they're just trying to sell you more, or they're just guessing or whatever. Sometimes we just don't want you to come back, you know. Every time I sell a cat, I sell both oxygen sensors, because even though they're fine now and I switch them over and they'll probably be fine after you leave for like a week or two, I've just been getting sick of, you know, a month goes by and then you come back with the O2 issue, and if the customer's got any wits about them, then they're blaming you for either A, damaging it, or B, I guess misdiagnosing, because they don't understand. So you know, that's where we just don't want it to come back. So makes us look bad and all that stuff. So I'm gonna get all the data stuff up. I'm gonna go for a ride. I'm gonna record it, come back and look at the sensors with you. So just sit tight. Alright, even though check engine light is on, it is not intermittent. So good thing we went for a road test and we didn't guess. I pull up the milliamps on the front. Let me zoom out one. Whoop. The milliamps on the front AF sensor. I pull up the voltage also, but I always go off milliamps. It's not of the. This is the current of the sensor and not of the heater circuit. So if you thought about that. O2 sensor, bank 1 sensor 2 voltage. You can see here we are not even at 10 milliamps, you know. So this is basically zero, all these little spikes here. And it did this for most of the route. It should have pretty quickly turned on the heater circuit and warmed the sensor up. Narrowband O2 sensor, well, both style O2 sensors, they need heat to work properly. That's why they have a heater circuit, so you don't have to wait for the car to warm up. So if the signal circuit's working properly, as you can see here, we're starting to warm up, and then now we're not even we're barely over 100 millivolts, so not really warm yet. It's starting to work. You can see it kind of working graph wise as it would have, you know, in that right here, you know, this is somewhere where it went lean. Up on this is lean, down on this is lean. and it kind of looks normal, but it's still not high enough. It should be working 0 to 1 volts roughly. And then here you can see now we're up to 400 millivolts, and now it's working good. We can see here that the cat's working properly because there's some sort of oxygen storage here between when this one went lean and when that one went lean, so there's that. But the signal circuit's working fine. Really no reason to test it. We need to worry about the heater circuit. It's probably the sensor is bad, but we are going to make sure anyways. I also don't know if when it puts this code, if it stops trying to use the heater circuit. That's something, you know, if I put the duty cycle up, it probably would have been a good idea. I don't know if this car even has that option. I'm actually going to check right now. Show all just to see. Probably something I should have done. I didn't do. Some temperatures. I would assume I would have seen it by now. It has ohms. That's of the actual sensor portion though. Not, that shouldn't be the heater circuit as far as I'm aware. Or what they call impedance. Your current right here, this would have been the one to know. We didn't do it. So let's see. If I start it up now, if I get some current flow through that bad boy. I don't. But that doesn't mean that it's not trying to. Duty cycle would do that. This is bank 1 sensor one though. So might not have a duty cycle on that O2 sensor available to watch. I don't know, I'm not going to look too much for it. It's not important. I can do a lot of testing underneath that'll tell me the same thing. So let's go look at it, I guess. Alright, first things first, visual inspection. It looks like crap, but I don't see any cracks or anything. Next thing, I got this hooked up to the heater circuit. Again, heater circuit's going to be the ones, 2 wires that are the same color. 12 ohms. I'm not really sure if that's good or not, but it's not super high and it's not super low. Next thing, I got a bulb here attached to the heater circuit. Those are the bigger gauge wires, or you can just follow the 2 white ones to where it is. And so I'm going to try to get this to work. I'm going to get up on that ladder and turn it on. Alright, it's running and it's not on yet. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's bad. I've had issues in the past on Toyotas where you need to drive it to get it to work. So we'll give it a minute here. I'll bring you back if it comes on. Also wanted to show you that it's ground side switch, so you can just take one of them out and figure out which one it is. This one, the power is the green wire, and then rub it against ground somewhere and you'll have that. That's all fine and dandy. We're not worried about the power, we're worried about the processor. I've also cleared the codes to see if that would fix it or show it. I might have to rig something up to go on a test drive and see if it turns on a test drive. Like I said, the Toyota is the only one that I've ever seen do that. Would be nice if they put in the active tests, the heater circuit control. I already looked, I didn't see it. Yeah, it's not, I don't see it in here. Special functions, there's this. Yeah, I think this is not the heater circuit, but we'll make sure. Yeah, it's not doing anything, so just showed you this, I guess. Interesting. Alright, let me try to rig something up for a test drive, I guess. That's what I got going on. I'll zip tie that and a long lead just on the yellow wire, which is going to be ground, and I'll find power up there somewhere. Alright, I got the light bulb up here, nothing's gonna ground and cause an issue. The sensor's still warm, so we have some sort of voltage here, but it still shouldn't be an issue. It still should do its thing. So I don't think we'll have to go fast for this, so hopefully I can record it, but I'll bring you back along when I get there. Alright, we're just doing back roads here. I guess that was just freeze from wherever it was last. I don't have any current happening yet, so there's that. There is no light yet, so there seems to be that. I'm gonna go out on the main road. I'm just gonna tell you if it turns on or not, because I'm not gonna record while I'm doing this. So we're on the main road. It's lighting up. I've got current. The PCM is A-OK. We are going to put an O2 sensor in it. I'm not gonna stop recording now. You can see the lights on. I will say one thing. Doesn't necessarily mean PCM's okay, even though history repeats itself and it tells me that it is okay, because this is kind of the gist. I have all the P0607s I have done for this processor code have always been the rear O2 sensor, but yeah, obviously everything's working as of now. Check engine light obviously not on. We're not going to drive it till the code comes back. This is a performance code, so it could probably take a couple trips and would have to duplicate the perfect symptoms maybe when it's cold out. I don't remember if I showed you, but it was pretty crusty around the hex head on this O2 sensor, and if there is an actual crack, like everyone says that there's a little tiny crack, then water could be getting in there and causing some sort of short that would make the PCM think that there's an issue with the heater circuit anyway. So I did my due diligence, so do yours. Go down in that comment section, tell me all the things you hate, all the things you like. Hit that like button, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and thanks for watching.